Alright, today we have the MG G50, MG's gasoline-powered MPV that is clearly aiming a little higher than what we are used to in this segment. Let's start with a quick walk around. From the outside, the G50 has very sharp and angular lines. There is nothing soft or rounded about the design, and I actually quite like that. The front end is dominated by this large grille. It gives the car a lot of character, and in person, it makes the G50 feel more aggressive. Down here, we have 17-inch rims wrapped in 215/55 tires, which feels appropriate for a vehicle of this size. Underneath, suspension is fairly standard for this segment. McPherson struts up front and a torsion beam at the rear, similar to most MPVs in this category. Size-wise, this thing is big for an MPV. Park it next to something like a Toyota Avanza, Mitsubishi Expander, or even a Hyundai Stargazer, and the G50 immediately looks wider and taller. Power comes from a 1.5-liter turbocharged gasoline engine paired to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. Fuel efficiency is not really the highlight here. Real-world figures are said to be around 6.5 to 7 kilometers per liter in the city, and up to about 15 kilometers per liter on the highway. The G50's trunk is manual operated, which I don't really mind as most of its competitors in this segment do not have automatic tailgates. With the third row up, space is still pretty decent, comparable to maybe a small hatchback. Of course, you could always get more luggage space by collapsing the third row. Let's head inside. First thing I notice when I sit down is the use of soft touch materials, not just on the dashboard, but also on the doors and even around the center console. This immediately elevates the cabin experience. The steering wheel is tilt adjustable, but unfortunately not telescopic. In front of me is a traditional gauge cluster with a small information display located in the middle. I like what MG did here, combining a non-digital gauge cluster with a fairly large touchscreen infotainment display. The MG G50 comes with a 12.3-inch infotainment display. This does come with Apple CarPlay, likely wired, though I did not get to test it during this test drive. There is no Android Auto, but it does have a phone mirroring feature to make up for it, even if functionality may be limited. Both the driver and front passenger seats are power adjustable, which is honestly a very nice touch at this price point. Below the screen are capacitor-style buttons for the air conditioning. They look clean and modern and thankfully are still easy enough to use while driving. The center console is gear shift free. Instead, this space is used for phone storage, this is not a wireless charger, plus 2 cup holders and the electronic parking brake. Now let's get moving. The gear selector is mounted on a stalk, replacing what would normally be the wiper stalk on the right side. This reminds me a lot of some American car designs. At low speeds, the DCT is surprisingly smooth. I was honestly expecting more hesitation or jerkiness, especially in traffic, but this one feels well tuned. Steering weight is nicely balanced. It is not overly light, but I can comfortably operate it with one hand. Visibility is also very good, thanks to the ride height and large glass area. This already feels like a vehicle I would enjoy taking on long drives. Giving it a bit more throttle, the engine delivers a surprising amount of power. With the car empty, acceleration is more than adequate. I can easily see this carrying 7 to 8 passengers without feeling completely overwhelmed. The transmission continues to behave well. Shifts are smooth and there is none of the nervousness I usually associate with dual clutch units at low speeds. Suspension feels solid. You do feel the road, but it is not harsh and the bumps are well managed inside the cabin. Since this is the Lux variant, you get captain seats in the second row. I honestly cannot think of many other gasoline-powered MPVs in this segment that offer this layout. These seats are very comfortable, cushioning is well placed, and the seat design supports my body dimensions nicely. Air conditioning performance is also good, especially considering this test drive unit was parked under the sun and does not have its windows tinted. This really adds to the premium feel that the G50 is trying to deliver. Moving to the third row, space is actually quite decent as well. 2 adults will fit comfortably, and 3 is possible. Taller passengers will have their knees fairly close, but for most people, this should be fine. Back behind the wheel, speaker quality is decent. I have definitely heard worse in this segment. There are no advanced driver assist systems here, but you do get cruise control, which is still very welcoming for highway driving. Overall, the MG G50 feels very comfortable, well thought out MPV that leans more towards refinement and space rather than outright efficiency. I genuinely would not mind taking this out for a long road trip. That's been a POV drive of the MG G50 LUX. Let me know what you think about this MPV and whether you would choose this over the more familiar options in the segment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.